Hi friends, welcome to my Zulu Heart. I'm Nontle Duma. Today I am sharing one of my recipes for Amagwinya. Amagwinya is also known as a donut. It's a donut that is our mostly breakfast. We can have it for dinner when it's savory, but the sweet one is mostly for breakfast, and it's one of the sweet foods that we have. My reason for making Amagwinya today of all days, it's Easter Monday 2020. We are still in lockdown, but I thought of making Amagwinya because we always had it as a child. So I grew up in a township called Tembisa, and every Good Friday, it's a bank holiday. From Thursday, people stop work until like Tuesday, Wednesday, the following week. So on Thursday night, we'll be going for night vigils, and where we are going to spend a night in church. It's like a conference for every Christian in our community. Everybody goes to their own church. So we used to go to this church, and we spent all night there, and then the whole Saturday. And then usually my mom would get us back on Saturday evening, get home. And then on Sunday, we sleep at home then on Saturday night. But on Sunday, we have to go back to church in the morning, usually with our beautiful new dresses. You know, that's another time where you get your new clothes. I would wear a lovely floral dress and lovely sandals or shoe and lovely socks. They never forgot their white socks, and we'll be heading to church. And then we'll come back for our main dinner, Sunday dinner, which is 7 colors in South Africa. And so we do that, and we eat our Easter eggs, our Easter bunnies, and then we go to bed. So Monday is Easter Monday. And mind you, our Good Friday, unlike here in Scotland where it's spring, in South Africa it's autumn. So the days are darker. And I remember Easter Mondays to be very nippy and dark. And we used to wake up at dawn. So our parents would wake us up at dawn, and we'll dress up and walk for like miles. We were going to gather at the cemeteries, because it's after the rainy season. Summer has lots of rain in South Africa. So around Easter Monday, that's when we all go to our respective cemeteries, and it's full, It's so crowded. Everybody who has access to their graveyards, or which are nearer, because some people go and bury their loved ones in their villages, native villages. So the ones in the township will go and tend the cemetery. So we'd go and clear up, dig what needs to be dug out, the weeds and all, because we didn't have the luxuries like here in Europe where there's somebody tending the cemetery. So we have to do that ourselves. So after the summer, usually some have sunken if we had heavy rains, and sometimes even during the summer there could be an announcement on the telly or radio to say, you know, go and check, because some of the cemeteries, maybe they've been affected by the floods. So anyway, every Easter Monday we take a walk, and there sometimes we'd see neighbors, people we do not know, but they are neighbors of our dead ones, you know, for some reason. But you meet the same people because we go around the same time, and it's before sunrise. So we go there, tend for those. And I remember the long walks back home. It would be chilly. That time is a day, I remember it's one of the mornings where we start wearing our jerseys, because the jersey is like a jumper here, you call it jumper, but a jersey, we'd be wearing our jerseys because it's a bit nippy. And then we take a long walk back home. And the reason being is because sometimes we are extended families. There's too many of us to take taxis. Sometimes we did take taxis, but most of the time we walked. And so we walk home. And then when we get home, go and wash our hands. And then the older guys or girls would go to the local shop to buy Amagwinya. Oh my God. By that time, you'd be starving. Yeah, you woke up at dawn after a heavy Sunday dinner. You woke up in chocolate. You wake up at dawn to go and clean. And you come back home. That was the highlight of the day. I just remember that day every time. And I wasn't going to cry on it. But yeah, it was about family, and whichever part of Tembisa our families and relatives came from, like my sisters were married, they'd all come from their respective homes for some reason, and there were no calls to say, oh, we're meeting at 6, whatever, but everybody got there at the same time, and we always started in the same grave to go to the next one, to the next one. And I remember very well, it used to be an emotional journey for the adults, because sometimes children, we are ignorant of what's happening. We're just upset in the morning. They wake us up for this event every year, like, where are we going? And some of these people, they are telling us about them. We don't know them. We have never met them. And I remember the most emotional one for my mom was going to our granddad after he passed. And that time, because I was 16 when he passed, so the following year I had turned 17, that Christmas period, and the next Easter I was 17, and my mom had lost so much weight. I remember she was frail, and it took us longer to get to the cemetery. It took us longer to get home because my mom was so upset over losing her dad, and yeah, so we used to do that and clean up, and we'd be told about cousins, and this talks were the same, because you'd be hearing your parents say, we don't know whose so-and-so's grave is, where is so-and-so's grave, and some people were buried in mass graves during the apartheid, so they'll be saying, oh, we have to go back to the offices to find out, which they never did. So we don't know how or what happened to our loved ones that they never went to search. And most of us now, we don't even know their names, so we can't go and search because we've lost it in the family tree. But then I thought, today I have to do Amagwinya as tradition, and I thought, what a better way than now to tell you the story of Amagwinya on Easter Monday. And because we had them like early in the day, usually we'd have maybe like them with different hams, like a polony or Vienna sausages, which are called frankfurters. So, and we have archer, but I just loved mine plain with a lovely cup of rooibos tea like this, like, yes, auntie, that's how to have Amagwinya in the morning with tea or coffee. Yeah, I remember it used to be a dull day, and you come back, you had forgotten the adults who were crying at the graveyards. They're just eating away, and then they start cooking another feast for the Easter Monday. So in here I have 3 cups of flour, just all-purpose flour that I'm going to sift. It makes them lighter. It makes your magwinya or whatever dough you're going to work with, the sifting works better. And the more sifting you do, the fluffier your recipe is. And then in here, I have a cup of sugar. You can do a bit less, because for the 3 cups, 3 cups of flour to the 1 cup of sugar, sort of like a cake consistency flavor, but my children love sugar, so you can do a bit less than that. And I have here a pinch of salt, just normal table salt, and I have here a teaspoon and a half of instant yeast, the instant rice one. And I'm going to put mine a bit of, because I want mine sweet, a bit of vanilla extract. This is vanilla bean extract. And then I'm going to mix it well. You can use a spoon, but I love the feel of it with my hands on. So that's what I'm going to do. And it's better to put your water in stages, because the water that you use, the amount of water you use is determining your end results. I like mine a bit lighter and softer, so I I put mine in a bit more liquid than others would. And you just keep mixing until the required consistency. And after mixing this, you're going to cover it. I'm going to cover this one with a cling film and like a kitchen towel, and keep it in a warm place for about 2 hours. Some people do it a bit lesser, but I love that fermented smell a bit, so I'm going to leave mine a bit longer. And I'll see you guys on the other side when the flour has risen, our dough has risen, and it's ready to fry. Guys, now this is my risen dough. And then in this pot here, I have heated up my oil. I'm heating up my oil, and you see the way it is now, I don't tamper with this much. I just scoop it out like this, and I pour it into my hot oil. And the hot oil must be medium to high to avoid the dough from heating up too much that it burns. And you need it to float to the top to show the right temperature. We should be using thermometers, but seriously, we just eye these things. And the more you make them, the more you sort of get the gist of how to set your heat. And this is how I'll be scooping them all into this. I find that if you knead your dough again before putting it in, it denses up your dough a little bit, but that's not what I'm after. I just like them fluffy and sweet. And so this is how I do mine. Just like that. And I tend to use a smaller pot. That saves the oil, because it's not every day that you cook. And I just discovered that I didn't tell you the temperature of the water that I used. I use sort of lukewarm instead of the cold water to mix into the dough. And I just play around with them, making sure they are all coated, but being very careful because this is oil. Maybe I shouldn't have put that extra one in there to give them space to float. And the size of your donut depends on how well you scoop the dough into the oil, and the smell is just beginning to be yum, yum, yum. And having the heat on medium ensures that your donuts don't burn, because they could brown on the outside and the inside is still of dough that is still raw. Thank you for joining me again. I hope you will try this version of Amagwinya. I'm definitely bringing more, and next time maybe I might do the savory one with mincemeat fillings, and the one with South Africans eat throughout the day. That one you can have it for lunch or dinner. It's that filling, yeah, and it's called fed cook. Fed cook. That's another word to learn on our next video. Please remember to subscribe, to share, and like the video. See you in the next one. Bye, friends.